Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Nothing new, I would say, but I want to see if the Russians will have the balls to do so. The Russians said that NATO planes are legitimate targets over Ukraine, but it's not that. It's more than that. I mean, we know that if the NATO planes would fly over Ukraine, the Russians will blow them up. I said it in the past, and I'm pretty sure they will do it. The problem is a second issue arises, not that they are in the air. Where do they take off from, or possibly land if they're not shot down? That's the issue. And I will go back to the beginning of the war. I think it was in March 2020, or March or April 2020. I think it was March 2022. So last year in March, one or two Ukrainian fighter jets engaged the Russians in the air, and then they flew back and landed, while chased, landed in Romania, so a NATO country state. And the Russians said then, if you remember, if that guy gets out, we're going to shoot him. And if any other airplanes, fighter jets, Ukrainian fighter jets, land somewhere in any country outside of Ukraine, we will reserve the right to blow up those airfields. If they're in Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, or Poland. These are the surrounding countries, or Moldova. Therefore, when now Zakharova comes over and says NATO warplanes, legitimate targets over Ukraine, and they're going to talk about the exact thing I was talking about, and I wonder if they will do it. Russia Today, 6th of December 2023. NATO warplanes, quote unquote, legitimate targets over Ukraine, Moscow says. So, Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova, very intelligent woman, very knowledgeable, fast, and got balls, it seems like, suggested that the F-16 fighters provided to Kiev could fly from within the military bloc's borders. And I think that's going to happen, and they say why. Russia will not hesitate to destroy US-made F-16 jets sent to Kiev, even if they operate from bases outside Ukraine. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has warned. Speaking at a regular briefing on Wednesday, Zakharova said that Russia was aware that the West would soon provide Ukraine with advanced fighters. I don't know if F-16s are advanced, but whatever. Why? They're designed in 1970s. Yeah, but the upgrades and updates. Okay, why don't you update your 1970 car and see how that performance is going to be? Oh, you put an engine, yeah, but the chassis, the angle, the aerodynamics, how are they? 70s versus 2023. Please. Speaking at a regular briefing on Wednesday, Zakharova said that Russia was aware that West would soon provide Ukraine with advanced fighters, the first delivery of which is expected next year. If the war ends by then, there's not going to be any delivery. And I suspect that probably that's what's going to happen. This garbage in Ukraine could end, therefore we're not going to see the F-16s being blown up over Ukraine. However, the spokeswoman pointed out that and I'm quoting, significant part of Ukraine's airfield infrastructure has been destroyed, and those American fighters may be operating from airfields outside the country, end quote, including in Poland, Slovakia, and Romania. Hungary is left out. Yeah, that's a possibility. And I'm quoting, the Russian armed forces will consider fighters participating in the conflict on the side of Ukrainian military as legitimate targets to be destroyed. Did you catch that? Pay attention. I know you do. Russian armed forces will consider fighters, fighter jets, fighters in fighter jets, participating in the conflict on the side of Ukrainian military. This right here I don't take it as Ukrainian fighters, because once you give the fighters, the fighter jets, to Ukraine, is not participating in a conflict on the side of Ukrainian military. To me, that sounds fighters from outside participating in a conflict on the side of Ukrainian military. That's how, I mean, legitimate targets to be destroyed. So I see it differently a little bit here, because first fighters you mean pilots or fighter jets? Okay, so fighter jets, if they're given, they're not fighting on the side of Ukraine. That's part of Ukraine. You don't say, well, the Abram tanks are fighting in behalf on the side of Ukrainian military. Do you? Do you say that the Marder's armored vehicle fights on the side of Ukrainian military, or you say, let's say, the Leopard 2 tanks are fighting? I never heard these words framed like that, put together in a sentence like that. Like the Leopard 2 tanks, we're going to destroy all Leopard 2 tanks who participate in the conflict on the side of the Ukrainian military. I never heard this kind of, I don't know, combination of words. I think they suspect, that's how I take it, fighters participating in conflict on the side of the Ukrainian military. Fighters from outside, probably other kind of pilots, like the Leopard 2 tank crew. Wie geht's? Good. You? Oh, du? Ich bin gut. Yeah. German crew members, or Polish, and whatever, not Ukrainians. The same here. I suspect that those pilots will not be Ukrainians. I said this many, many times before. But hey, we'll see until one of those is downed and the pilot ejects, and they will capture him and they will put it in front of the cameras, like they did in 1960 with that U-2 pilot that was shot down on a spy mission over Russia, if you remember that. I covered that in another video here and there. So let's see what else these guys are saying. Zakharova, mind you. Zakharova further added that the upcoming F-16 deliveries lead NATO to, and I'm quoting, become even more mired in the Ukraine conflict. I don't know, these guys are still debating that. That's a given. NATO is there. They are planning the operation. What are I talking about? They told this, came out and told us yesterday, the day before. I covered it in my videos. Yes, I think it was the day before, not yesterday, when they said clearly that the NATO generals, including Austin and other weasels, that's why they're winning, because they have Austin and others. They were in the room with Zaluzny and they were deciding the counteroffensive plans, and they were suggesting. Ukraine says here, mired in a Ukraine conflict, adding that by sending arms to Kiev, the US-led military bloc is in fact, and I'm quoting, waging a hybrid war against Russia under the guise of saving Ukraine. We already determined that to be true. As I said many times, the first bullet that was sent in military aid to Ukraine from whomever, that would have been a legitimate target and an enemy. I mean, it's like you fight the neighbor, and the neighbor over there gives the neighbor you're fighting, I don't know, weapons, sniper rifles to take out your family. Will you say, well, you're not involved? What would you do? That's what you would do. And then you say, no? What are you going to do? Shoot back? I dare you. We all go wherever you go and I go. That's a war. That's crazy. And I guarantee you those guys will say, oh, whoa, let's talk. I guarantee you that would have happened. But that's crazy situation or scenario. Ukraine has long requested advanced jets from the West, international coalition. In August, the US cleared the way for Denmark and the Netherlands to re-export the fighters to Kiev, which vowed to send up to 61 jets, while also allowing European countries to train Ukrainian pilots. I don't think so. In Ukraine, Belgium also said, I mean, look over the map at Belgium and look over the map at the Netherlands. No offense. They're very small countries. Very small countries. And it makes you think, how come they're rich? Because they're Western European countries. How come they're rich? So small and so rich. What do they have? Money? How come they have money? Brains? Yeah, they do have brains. Makes you think, how come these small, they're so strong where on the large scale, you just industrially, you can't produce shit. I think Netherlands is about 10 million people and Belgium is what? No offense, but you can't have a big industry unless you create something so extraordinary that everyone wants it. What's that? Money? Banking? I know the Netherlands have banking all over the world. Now, I don't think that that's all they do, because I know that's not all they do. But they have also Rotterdam. I know only Rotterdam is the main shipping, how do you call it, shipping harbor for Europe. I think it's the busiest port. That's a lot of money over there. But it can't be all that. I mean, I know they have ladies of the night over there in Amsterdam and shit, but still, you can't get a lot of revenue out of that, I guess. I'm not a pimp, so I don't know. All right, in October, Belgium also said it would provide Ukraine with an undisclosed number of US-made fighters starting in 2025. By then, everything is done. US itself has also joined the effort to train a small number of Ukrainians, with about 200 additional personnel scheduled to receive maintenance training. And this is important right here at the bottom. Remember this right here. That's all you need to know. Russia has repeatedly warned the West against arms deliveries to Kiev, noting that they would only prolong the conflict, but would not change its outcome. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, this is important, has also said that Moscow would deem the shipments of F-16 a nuclear threat, given that some modification could carry atomic weapons. So you can ignore everything I said and just remain with this one right here. Okay, ignore everything that this article said and stay with this. So the Russians would deem as nuclear threat the delivery of the F-16s. Why? Because they can have nuclear weapons. They can carry. So what are you going to do about it? That means you can do this. Are you going to wait for the guy to shoot first and then you're going to shoot? How about the preemptive strikes like Israel or United States of America and so on? Remember in 1967, the 6-day war, it started, it triggered, right, by an Israeli preemptive strike on Egypt, didn't it? Preemptive strike. So if I think, based on my evidence and my perception, that you're about to punch me in the face, I'm going to give you an elbow, bang, and then bang, and you're going to be done, right? Now, if I have that right, you should have the same right to do the same thing to me. Maybe I look too aggressive to you, and I want to give you bang, bang, then you do this. So remember, I wonder if these guys are going to shoot the airfields in Romania or wherever they take off. And I think they will. I think if if Ukrainians or whomever, I don't think it's going to be the Ukrainian pilots, would take off with F-16s from Romanian airfields, let's say, I think the Russians will hit those, they will warn them first, and then they will say, we're going to hit those airfields. And if not, I don't know, then let them do it to you then. What can I say? I mean, you can't control what they do. You can't control what you can do. So, thank you very much for being with me again today. Remember, nuclear threat, F-16 deliveries. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.